What if I told you one of the funniest movies ever made was almost never released? That it was so shocking, so outrageous, that even the studio tried to bury it? Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks' legendary Western satire, wasn't just another comedy, it was chaos wrapped in genius. The film broke every Hollywood rule, pushed boundaries no one dared to touch, and left audiences laughing so hard they almost forgot they were watching something deeply controversial. But behind the slapstick and outrageous jokes, the making of Blazing Saddles was full of bizarre stories, shocking secrets, and moments that nearly destroyed the film before it became a classic. Here are the weirdest things you didn't know about Blazing Saddles. First, let's talk about the script. The movie was written by 5 different writers, including Mel Brooks and the brilliant but wild comedian Richard Pryor. Pryor's raw, fearless humor gave the story its edge, but here's the weird twist: Warner Brothers refused to cast him in the lead role because they thought he was too unpredictable. Instead, they gave the part of Sheriff Bart to Cleavon Little. Pryor, who co-wrote many of the funniest lines, ended up watching someone else deliver them on screen. Imagine co-writing one of the boldest comedies ever and not even starring in it. Then there's the casting of Gene Wilder. He wasn't the first choice to play the Waco Kid. Originally, the role was given to Gig Young, but during filming, Young collapsed on set from alcohol withdrawal. In desperation, Brooks called his friend Gene Wilder, who joined the cast at the last minute. Wilder's calm, deadpan delivery became iconic, but it only happened because of a near disaster. Without that twist of fate, Blazing Saddles might never have been the same. Of course, the weirdness didn't stop there. The studio executives hated the film. They begged Mel Brooks to cut entire scenes, especially the infamous campfire sequence where the cowboys sit around eating beans and passing gas. It was crude, juvenile, and absolutely unheard of in a Hollywood movie. Brooks refused, and that scene went on to become one of the most talked about moments in comedy history. Even the legendary producer Alan Ladd Jr. admitted the studio thought the movie was a disaster. The only reason it was released was because Brooks threatened to walk away. And then there's the ending, one of the strangest, most meta finales ever filmed. Instead of ending in the Old West, the story explodes into modern-day Hollywood, complete with a massive studio brawl spilling onto other sets. It was weird, chaotic, and unlike anything audiences had ever seen. Brooks later admitted he added it partly because he wanted to make fun of the artificiality of Hollywood itself. What should have been a simple Western parody became a full-blown satire of movies, racism, and the absurdity of show business. But here's the most shocking secret: Blazing Saddles was almost banned before it hit theaters. Studio executives worried its unfiltered language and biting racial humor would destroy careers. Yet, when it premiered in 1974, audiences couldn't stop laughing. It became one of the highest-grossing comedies of all time. What was once considered too offensive turned into a comedy classic that changed Hollywood forever. Even today, Blazing Saddles feels dangerous, like a movie that couldn't possibly be made now. Its jokes are outrageous, its satire unflinching, and its weird behind-the-scenes stories make it even more legendary. Mel Brooks didn't just make a comedy, he made a cultural earthquake that still shakes audiences decades later. So the next time you watch Sheriff Bart ride into Rock Ridge, remember this. Behind every joke was a battle, behind every laugh was chaos, and behind one of the weirdest, wildest comedies in history was a team of misfits who dared to break every rule in Hollywood. Blazing Saddles wasn't just funny, it was fearless. And maybe that's why it still feels so weird, so bold, and so unforgettable.